Whoa. 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 This is the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. This is Sober Wednesday. We made it again. We've made it to another Sober Wednesday. So this is the hour that is dedicated to those who may be suffering, to let them know that can be a temporary situation and that there is a solution. So this hour is to help people hang on a bit, and for the rest of us who are locked in, to be of service to those who are suffering by being a light, a bright light to someone's dark day. And we all have our moments. We all have our days where it doesn't line up in our favor and it's overwhelming. And we're here to remind you that you don't need to drink or drug or eat pizzas or sleep with people or gamble or kill yourself to get through the situation. You can just stay here with us, and we'll spend this hour together getting out of our own way. And so with that said, I usually open this up with the serenity prayer, which is more applicable than ever. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is a super potent prayer when you really break it down and kind of get under the hood of what that's really about. Wisdom to know the difference, man. Every time, it's funny. Every time I say that prayer here with you, it takes on a different. It kind of has a different depth than when I say it sitting in a meeting or whatever, because I kind of do this internal reflection on actually what it is. And I always find it to be extremely trippy. Let me just say hi to some people. XRP Andy, Eliana, dude, you're back. Good for you, dude. I hope you're still doing the deal. Internet Connections, Dan Z, Progressive Jeff from Canada, and Internet Connections, 7 years sobers. Fantastic. Lucky number 7. Hedgy, XRP Andy, 7 years sober. You were the catalyst to me getting sober. Wow, man, that's a wild thing to hear. I'm glad I was able to participate. 7 years. We got some 7 years in here, man. 7 years, dude. What a wild. Leggy Maggie, hello. I'm having trouble getting home. Hedgy. We're all having a little trouble getting home, but we're gonna get there. That prayer gets me so fired up. Yeah, it's a good prayer. Progressive Jeff, 1 year and 2 months here. Help me too. Wow. Right. That's cool to know, man. I got a super rad text message a couple days ago from one of the tribes parents, and it was pretty heavy. As a parent, man, I think as a bad parent, man, a parent is a different, it's funny when I sit here on this side of it, right? Like when I was first getting sober, I should almost read my big book phrase. I'll do this little intro. When I was first getting sober, right? Like I wasn't a parent yet. And I don't think I really understood what my parents had to experience with me being me, man. I wasn't, I wasn't an easy case. Man, talk about an entitled, narcissistic a-hole. And yeah, man, and you really like once you have your own child, you really do realize like what you put your parents through and just like, geez, dude. Jeez, man. So and then and then on that note, I was having this thought yesterday. I kind of did a wild live stream last night and I was thinking today about, or last night or yesterday or somewhere in recent thought process about all the junkies in our streets right now, right? Like, because they're not like foreigners, they're like members of our society, and they're the people on Kensington Avenue, the people in Los Angeles, the tweakers in front of the Vons over here on the other side of the lake. And I was thinking about the fact that they're somebody's children. Like they're all somebody's children. Like they all have parents. And I don't know. I just had this like weird, trippy thought about that. Like, and it seems like there's a certain aspect. I know I'm sort of delving out in like a kind of like cross-pollinating with my other sort of streams, but I was just sort of thinking about how like there's this weird disconnect from that with today's sort of drug epidemic plaguing our streets, that all these people are somebody else's children on a level like it. And I got one, bud. Thank you. That's super nice to you. I appreciate your owl. Thank you. And I don't know. It was just a weird thought, man. Anyway, I'll get more into what this is. But first of all, let me do the reading, because like I kind of gotta. So before I get started, right? Like this is I read these 2 pages from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Chapter 5, How It Works. This is not an AA meeting. This is not affiliated with AA. I'm not representing AA. I just found that these 2 pages have a pretty good program that you can apply to kind of solve most of our like internal problems, because whatever we're doing to solve those problems really aren't the problem. They're a sort of solution in a way, that because we don't have a spiritual solution yet. And this is a way for us to shed the superficial problem. For me, it was drugs and alcohol, so that we can get to the real problems, which might be mental health issues or trauma or any of these things. And then we can begin to heal and jettison our baggage and get into a productive state of being with the spiritual program. And so this is how it's laid out, so we can do that. And so I read this. Chapter 5, How It Works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. There are those who do not recover, people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who recover from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you've decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. At some of these, we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. There is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1, We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all our defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I cannot go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have sat down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter of the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought, baby. Yeah, boy. Hoo-ah. All right, man. Day 20, dude. Error. Good for you, dude. 20 days. Good for you, man. I'm lucky. Leggy Maggie. Hey, what's Ellie? Hey, Owl. Anthony Rossetti. Hey, everyone. Leggy Maggie, I'm so lucky not to be in their shoes. They came pretty close. Yeah, we all did, man. There, but for the grace of God, go I. And free as a bird's in here. Not trying to be honest while starting my journey was tough. And being honest with myself was harder than anything I've ever had to deal with. Anthony, I'm going to circle back on that. Appreciate your work. Anthony, honesty is big, dude. Amen, dude. 20 days. Let's go. Day 837 from a 10-year plus heroin fentanyl habit. Never going back. Mickey Martin, congratulations, man. Good for you. Thorough honesty, man. I'm going to chime in on what Anthony says right there. Thorough honesty, man. It's from the very start. It's interesting because whenever I read this, it's something I always see triggers me up, and I kind of wanted to get. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil till we let go. Absolutely, but I'll circle back on that. But I think that the just to kind of get this going, the thorough honesty thing is from the very start. It's thorough honesty from the very start, and I think that this honesty thing has a bigger weight than needs to be put upon it. I think for some people, the first honest thing they need to actually address might be the fact they don't know how to be honest. You know, when we get here as alcoholics or overeaters or whatever it may be, like we get here and we think that honesty is this super deep level of like, I need to tell the truth about all this stuff, and we forget that maybe the first thing we need to stop lying about is our inability to be honest. And that's okay. Like that's why it says we thorough, like what it says it. Wait, let me find it, dude. Many of us have failed. Their chances are less than average. There are those who suffer great much, but they do recover if they have capacity to be honest. Oh, we thought we could we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. And that's what it is from the very start of this thing. I think that people almost think they need to lie in order to do this. It's a weird concept. And I kind of take myself back to day one. It's like we kind of come in and sort of think we need to lie about how serious our situation is. It's not that bad. And it's like that is like where that thorough honesty is. And it might just be as simple as like, I don't know how bad it is. That might be the honesty of the situation is like, I don't know. So, for example, I talked to this kid, this young man yesterday called me up and he sent me an email. And by the way, that's how you get a hold of me is there's a process if you really want to get a hold of me. And he sent me an email and it sounded like he had kind of a serious problem. And so I got a hold of him and we talked, and it was interesting that like when I started talking to him, I was like, I don't really think you're an alcoholic, though I don't know, but like listening to what you're telling me, I don't I don't think that you're okay, man. I got it. And what I realized talking to this guy, kind of had my own breakthrough of it, is we live in this interesting time where everything's polarized. It's either up or down or left or right or frontwards or backwards or yes or no. And so it's either you're sober or you're an alcoholic and or a drug addict. Like you're either one or the other. And I was talking to this dude and he was in college and he's like, "Yeah, man, I've been," and I was like, "You're in college and this is going on." It reminded me of that half-baked thing when remember when Chappelle's in at the meeting and he's like, "I smoking weed," and he goes, and they shame him at the AA meeting because smoke weed. Like, that's a great scene. But it was sort of it's like that sort of thing where like we've been convinced that like you're like some of it's just okay. It doesn't have to be detrimental and invertedly too. I think that people are so afraid of the polarized thing that to admit that you're an alcoholic is like a doomsday missile into some sort of like life terminating situation. So you come into this thing and you're sort of like lying basically to yourself. But because you're lying to yourself that it's not really as bad and everyone's making a big deal of it and this and that, it's really hard to get honest. And I do think that is a huge component to the first thing about it is if you can just get honest about what's going on. And from my experience, kind of what I've had the like God has allowed me to do with this thing here is people get a hold of me and I don't know them from my soda can or my sparkling water can right here. Like I don't know them at all. I don't know their face. I don't know anything about them. And what I've noticed is it allows people to actually like communicate with on a sort of an honest level they might not normally be able to communicate because I'm the stranger they know. You know what I mean? Like they know me, I don't know them. And I think that that's sort of like the magic of what I'm able to do behind the scenes is people allow themselves to get pretty honest because like I don't know who they are. They're true anonymity. Like, we talk like, I'm an AA guy, right? So like we talk about anonymity, but there's like anonymity to me is the utter like not any knowledge of me at all. Like the minute I'm entering your thing going, I'm so and so, like, and I guess this, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from this, is skin in the game. And I think for some people, like that first skin in the game is to themselves. Just to admit to themselves they got a problem is huge, dude. So it's it's an interesting thing. Oh, we got hold the line. Love isn't always on time. 32 days sober, dude. Sir talks a lot. 92, 32 days sober, quarter of the way through rehab and at VA. Just secured an apartment today. It's funny how things been back together when sober, dude. Spencer B, thank you as well. Yeah, man, it's just take it slow and easy. Slow and steady wins the race, man. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, this thing is the jumping off point is tricky, man, because at one sense and kind of circling back to this thing, I think that people come in the door thinking that honesty is this giant thing and don't want to admit the truth. Like when you get, like, I know people that struggle getting sober because they don't want to admit that they want to drink again. Like, and to me, I think I learned that early on because I was getting sober with David and Joe, and those dudes were gnarly, dude, straight shooters. And I learned that, like, the thing I had to truly be honest with myself about is I wanted my medicine. Like, yeah, I wanted to be sober, but I also wanted my medicine. And I think that a lot of people getting sober think that they can't be honest about that. Like, and think they can't be pissed about it. Like, look, if you're getting sober for real, you're supposed to be pissed. Like, just FYI, like, you don't have to pretend to be in a good mood or in a good place or any of that. Like, you might be just a person with a happy-go-lucky disposition, and I wouldn't shake anyone from that. But I think a lot of people begin their sober journey afraid of these things that you need to really be honest about, because, like, they are the truth. Like, I tell you, I've worked with a lot of people and been around in sobriety for a fair amount of time. What almost 50, like almost a quarter of my life, little less, right? And and I will tell you that the people that struggle and ultimately drink or use again are the people that didn't want to admit that they were struggling. And what do I mean by that is afraid to go, I want to have a drink right now. And that's a good thing. Like, if you can actually turn to your alcoholic friends or your people in the program or whoever you're getting sober with and go, you know what, man, I want to have a drink, dude. Odds are you're not going to, because you got honest about it. It's the people that are like, I don't want to drink. I'm never going to drink again. I'm never gonna drink again. And secretly the whole time they're like, I just want to drink. I want to drink. But the outside message they're selling, because they're in this sober world, is like, I don't want to drink anymore. And I go, that's the lie that will kill. Because if we're doing the sober thing together, you want to have a drink. You may not like I shouldn't say you, I should talk about me. Look, I'm 15 years into this thing, right? The obsession's been removed. I don't trip about alcohol and drugs. And like I said to me, they're no different than milk in the supermarket. Like, I could care less about it. I don't care if someone drinks in front of me. I don't care about it. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It has nothing to do with me anymore. But that doesn't mean that I still don't sometimes be like, I want to get hammered. Do I obsess on it? No. But every now and then the thought will come up and I'll just be like, I want to get hammered. I want to party, dude. I don't know if it's a party. I just want to check out. I guess I just want to check out. And that's what, like, I think a lot of these people that are preaching this other sort of weird macho sobriety, just, do push-ups or whatever, like, it's just like, it's whistling through the graveyard to me. To me, the safest thing I got going is I'm honest with myself about where I'm at with my sobriety. And I will never not want to have a drink or snort some blow or do what I do, dude. Like, I just don't obsess about it. So generally it just doesn't even come up as a thought pattern. But every now and then, like, oh yeah, that's what I would like to be doing. Right. Like that's and then I look at that thought. I'm super straight with it. I'm super honest with that thought. I look at it and I ask myself, what is that thought about? And then I realize it's just a thought. It's just some thought that came up in my thing because, like, I spent more time of my life. Well, let's see, if I'm 15 years sober and I smoked weed for the first time, probably when I was like 13, that gives me a combined like 28 years. I'm 55. So a little bit more than half my life, I was getting hammered. Like, yeah, getting hammered, doing drugs, the whole thing. So I have a neuro disposition to that wavelength, man. Like, it's not, so to pretend that that's not part of who I am is ultimately to be dishonest with myself. I'm a stoner for life, dude. I can be as sober as I want. I will always be a stoner, dude. You get what I'm saying? I will, like, that's just part of who I am. It's not the skin suit I inhabit now. It's not the spiritual presence I have now, but it is part of my reality, dude. That like I can't scrub away. And that's why we don't dwell on the past nor shut the door on it. So that's really kind of like I'm glad you brought that up, Anthony, about this honesty thing, because I think people think that honesty is selling other people a bill of goods so that it appears that you're participating in the thing. And I will tell you, the people that I know that have survived the journey of sobriety thus far are all people that told it all to go fuck off once upon a time, dude. I think that is a super healthy thing to do, is at some point, because in the beginning it's like it's a warfare, and then you become Johnny sober guy and you're like, yeah, dude, sobriety's the best, and everyone, and and you're doing the thing, and you're going to the meetings, and you're speaking, and you got your thing going on, and that phase is rad, dude. You're on fire, bro. It's super bitching. And then there becomes a point where you're like, you gotta question it. You gotta take a deep dive into, like, what is this? What am I doing? What's this all about? But because you've got a bunch of time under your belt and a bunch of program under your belt and a bunch of solution in your system, a bunch of spiritual connectivity, you can have an adult, honest exploration of what you're all about, man. And then you can work through it all and ultimately be like, yeah, the sobriety thing ain't bad for me, dude. Like, look, I always talk about it, man. When I guess I was 3 years sober in that time frame. I got all into questioning, I'm a truther. Like, that's the part of my thing, is I'm always looking for the truth, which means other things are lies, right? So I was like, the conspiracy of the blue books, dude. I like, one day I was just like, all these blue books, dude, the blue books, dude. What's with all the blue books, man? And I got all into, the blue books are like being made by the man, dude, and they're all like hijacking like the the pathway to God and the whole thing. And I just got all about like the blue book conspiracy, man, and really dug into it. And I started to really question the origin of this book, the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous, and all the blue books, dude. There's a lot of blue books when you really dig into it. And I started asking a lot of like questions, and I did this deep dive about like, what do they mean and what are they all about? And I spent about 2 months sort of in this blue book conspiracy deep dive trying to figure out the truth. And I'll tell you what I came to is I was like, okay, let's say the government made this book. Let's say this government made this book as strictly mind control propaganda to manipulate me. I went, so what? It's keeping me sober. Like, that's what I came down to. I was like, so what? It's keeping me sober. And if I can stay sober, my mind is free. And it was like this weird spiral I had to go through and ultimately come up to the conclusion of like, so what? It's keeping me sober. Who cares? Right? And it was like, but if I hadn't had the honesty and like, I remember talking to some of my sober bros about it, and they were like, dude, I don't want to hear about this stuff, dude. Like, what do you mean the conspiracy of the blue books and the whole thing? And I was like, no, dude, like this is I went through the whole, this is a cult, this is a scam, this is the whole thing, right? And I had to work it out with myself. I had to be honest with myself that I wasn't buying into this at 3 years later. Not the sobriety part of it. I was totally down with the sobriety. I was just like, where's it coming from? Am I an alcoholic or not? Or is this a label that's been inserted through this thing? That's when I hear the people like, I don't want to join AA and all that stuff. Like, dude, you're talking to a truther guy here. I went in on all of this and went and explored it all from the perspective of a truther, seeing if I was involved with a cult or not, dude, right? And if I was involved with a government MK, I was like, this is a government MK Ultra book, dude. It's put out by the government, dude, like to manipulate me. It's trying to turn me into a doormat or something, right? I went there and I explored that whole thing, and I came to the conclusion that I'm totally down with being an alcoholic. I'm totally down with the word. I'm totally down with the ramifications with it. Why? Because life not being an alcoholic is totally fucking out of control and madness, and the only solution I have without the model of being an alcoholic is to soothe my pain of being a spiritual being caught in this human condition, is to drink and drug and make trouble and blow it all up and be Hiroshima Nagasaki, right? So for me, I can live in this thing. I don't need all these. When these other guys are like, oh, you can't, like with the label and like you shouldn't have to be an alcoholic. No, I am. And I'm totally down with it. Why? Because I understand that it's a blessing. It's not a curse, right? See, the curse was when I wasn't an alcoholic. See, when I wasn't an alcoholic, I was just an out of control human being that had zero solution. And all I could do was take medicine to solve my solutionless reality. That's what I mean. The whole point of this hour we put together is so that there is a solution. And for me, what I found is inside of this thing of being an alcoholic, I was like, oh my God, there's finally something that explains what it is that I'm experiencing down here, and also offers me a solution. See, if being an alcoholic was just like a diagnosis, like, oh, you're an alcoholic, right? Yeah, you're an alcoholic. But see, it comes with a solution. See, if it was just a problem, it wouldn't work for me either, dude. I'd be like, that's messed up, dude. Who wants a problem with no solution? It would be like, we're going to diagnose you with a disease, and see you next week. What? I got a disease? You're not, we just diagnose you, dude. We don't actually do the fix it thing. No, that's not what we do here. This has a solution. There is a full on solution here, man. And so part of the gift of being an alcoholic is there's a solution that allows me to not have to live the life of a non-alcoholic, because the life of a non-alcoholic for me as a human being is madness, is utter insanity, dude. Because like without the concept of alcoholism, I am just self-will run riot. I am just a madman. I'm crazy because I don't have a solution. See, part of what I found is when I did all the deep diving and the questioning and being honest with myself. See, what I'm talking about is the honesty. At the beginning, I just had to be honest with just the little kernel, right? Like how a pearl is made in a clam or oyster or whatever, right? Starts with a grain of sand, it gets irritated, the whole thing, right? So in the beginning, I just had to be honest, like I am powerless and my life is unmanageable. Good enough, dude. Stop right there, dude. You don't need to get any more honest than that in the beginning. Just like, yeah, right, dude. And that's a hard thing for most people to get honest about. Most people that's rocket science honesty, dude. It's like, I'm powerless over alcohol. My life's unmanageable. Glitch, 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 dude. Right? So move the ball forward. Like I had to be honest about me as a character, my character defects and who I am. I am not a dude who joins and just sits in the room and's like, and that's not me, dude. I'm a troublemaker, dude. I'm a rebel rouser, dude. I'm a question asker. I'm a truth finder, dude. So I have to be honest with that, guys. I can't deny who I am as a human being. I'm just gonna lie about it. Like I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit here, not gonna ask any questions, because why? Why wouldn't I ask any questions? And so what I'm getting at is for me, what I found for me was that as long as I stay in this space, I understand what the solution is, right? It's only when I'm like, no, I'm not an alcoholic, dude. I don't have a spiritual malady. I don't have an allergic reaction. I don't have a spiritual malady, a physical allergy, and mental obsession, right? I don't have any of these, dude. I can just go to the gym, or I can just go skateboarding all day, or write a novel, whatever it is. I can just decoy myself from like these things. Like I'm not an alcoholic, because that's what an alcoholic is. By the way, it's not about, the word alcoholic is a kind of a crappy word, dude. But when you truly understand, it's an allergy. It's a three-pronged thing, right? It's an allergy. Like I'm allergic to drugs and alcohol. Why? Because when I want more, One isn't enough. One isn't enough, man. I don't want one little bump of cocaine. I want Columbia, Holmes. I don't want a little toke. I want the whole fucking pot farm, dude. I don't want one Sierra Nevada, dude. I want the entire factory, dude. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't have like it, like so that's my mental, and my body's like, yeah, bring it on, dude. And then it's painful being a human being down here with that kind of a mind and that kind of obsession. Like, just drink up, dude, right? So I can't do push-ups to get through this thing. I can't distract myself long enough to get through this thing. I can't do that. I need the solution, right? Well, what is the solution, man? It's laid out here in these 2 pages, dude. There is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. But I can't find God if I haven't done the 4th step. I can turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. but if I don't do the fourth step, I understand God with the weight of my problems still on my back. Like, right? That's what the fourth step's all about is yeah, you can turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand them in step 3. But how well do you understand if you have all the garbage of your pre-existing life hanging over your shoulders or over your head? How well can you truly understand God, right? That's why step 4 is key to this whole thing is and then step 5, right? I made it. What was step 5? Admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of my wrongs. See, when you actually get all your garbage together and you give it back to God and you get real and you tell it to another human being, get thoroughly honest, then you get to really have an understanding of God, right? That's not just turning my will over to the care of God as I understand him. Now, because you don't have all these burdens on you, you can actually clearly go to God and develop a new understanding. I was talking about it on my other normal show. And yeah, we come in on maybe godless. You might be getting sober and not believe in God, hate God, don't believe God exists. Like, that's the kind of honesty you got to show up to AA with. Yeah, this is all about like spirituality and God's mentioned. But if you're not honest enough to go, I like, and you come here and you're like, I hate God, dude, but I want to be sober, but I fucking hate God. Like, we can work with you then. But if you come into this and you're like, I'm going to be sober, and you're going to pretend to love God while you hate God, we're doomed. We can't help you. See what I'm saying is you're totally like the beauty of AA is you don't have to have God. I mean, ultimately you'll want God because God is the what this is all about. But in the beginning, you get to get here with a big middle finger if you want to God. Like, that's the honesty we need as your fellow alcoholics who are going to help you through this. We just need you to be straight with us, dude. And be like, look, dude. And then we go, dude, good, man. Right on. That's good to know, dude. You hate God? Like, fantastic, dude. No wonder you're drinking, dude. No wonder, bro. Yeah, that's a tricky position. But from there, like, because again, God will manifest in the low in super simple ABC kinds of ways for those people. You see, like when I got here, like I already had a relationship with God. I had an understanding of God. I knew God was working my life. So when I got here, the dudes that God put in front of me, David and Joe, were like these PhDs in spirituality. So like we got to do some pretty heavy duty, like God manifesting stuff early on. And I was like, whoa, dude, like, okay, I'm in, bro. Like, really? Like, God's that gnarly. And they were like, yeah, God's that gnarly, dude. Are you ready? And I was like, yeah, give me more, dude. Right. And so, but for some other people, man, they can't have lightning bolts shooting out of the sky. That would fucking cause them to drink, dude. And so that's what I'm getting at is it's okay to show up here and you got a bunch of people that are like, yeah, God and God's in my life and this and that. You as a new sober member of Alcoholics allowed to go, dude, I hate God. And all of us who are like sober people that are all down with God, we'll go right on. See, this isn't a church. You're not joining a church or a mosque or a synagogue or whatever, a Buddhist temple. You're joining sobriety, dude. And the only requirement to be a member is a desire to stop drinking. You don't even have to stop drinking to be a member with us, dude. You just got a desire, you just want to stop, dude. You don't have to stop. That's the beauty with it. Like, you don't technically have to stop to join us. You're not going to get sober doing that, but you can be a member if you want to get sober and have a desire to get sober. Like, all are welcome, dude. You know what I'm saying? And so us as people that are sober, like we're down with that level of honesty. That level of honesty allows us to help you. But if you're pretending that you're down and you're not, we can't help you. You get what I'm saying? You've shut the door on it. And that's why this thing is super important, like where they talk about it. Like some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil till we let go. Absolutely. Like in order to get sober, you got to let go of all your dumb ideas that allowed you to be wasted. And that's that whole I don't join and I don't go to meetings and I don't want to talk to other alcoholics. Well, that's why you're loaded and you'll stay loaded, is because your old ideas didn't work. You get like that. I see that a lot. Like I don't do that. Neither did I, bro, but I was willing to understand this basic concept. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until that we got let go. Absolutely. Like that's the only way I got sober. I was like, I don't got any good ideas left, man. What do you guys got? They're like, dude, we got this like sober stuff where we're like rocketing into the fourth dimension, like interdimensional time travelers, bro. You in? I'm like, yeah, dude, let's go, dude. You get what I'm saying? So this whole thing of like what we won't do, those are old ideas. So you got to be open to new ideas if you really want to do the sober thing, is be like, oh, dude, and you're not going to get new ideas sitting with yourself, not drinking. Like that ain't that, like there's no new ideas. There's just a dude not drinking or a woman not drinking, just sitting there by themselves going, I ain't drinking, dude. I ain't drinking. I ain't drinking. But there's no new ideas coming in, right? There's no new neural, you're not developing. And why are the new ideas so important? Because you're firing up new parts of your brain, right? Like it's all about getting your brain to start firing up new neural pathways. Because us as drug addicts and alcoholics, we've been sitting in stagnant neural pathways that are essentially calcified, and we're locked and just like, yeah, I drink to solve my problems and snort coke and bang hookers or sleep with weird dudes or whatever we do. And that's old thinking. What part of the mission, and they don't really get into it. It's sort of implied here, because you got to remember this is in the 30s, before all this like neural science showed up. But like it's all about firing up new neural pathways, right? And that's why you got to go stop with the like I don't stuff. I don't go to meetings. I don't join. I don't go to AA. I don't want to talk about this. I don't like the thing. Well, you're going to be stuck with your same neural pathways that got you to drink in the first place, or smoke weed, or do whatever it is you were doing. The whole point is to get out of that broken mentality and get some new electrical impulses jamming around up in your melon, dude. Like that's the point. And I get it. Like it's deeper than not drinking. You see, and this is what I always like to circle back to. If this was about not drinking or not drugging or not eating pizzas or not doing whatever it is we do, I ain't in. See, the only reason a dude like me hangs out here for 15 years building on this sobriety thing is because it's not about not drinking. It's about like going on this interdimensional shift with God and this crazy life-saving thing. Like my mission as a sober person is my primary purpose is to help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. What does that mean? I don't think people truly understand the ramifications of what we're doing here, dude. What does that mean? My primary purpose is to help another alcoholic to achieve sobriety. My primary purpose is to not let other people be at the end of their life and want to die because there's no solution. My job is to essentially go give spiritual CPR to another person that is literally spiritually defibrillating on the concrete slab of life, going, I don't have a reason to live anymore because this sucks. And I come in there as a sober dude and go, dude, This is what we do, man. And so that's why you need to be part of the team in order to really do the sober thing. Because if your main mission isn't going and saving other people's lives, like you don't get your cape and your Batman mask or your superhero stuff. Like I'm telling you, man, like every now and then you'll get one of those moments where you're like, dude, I have done good in the name of God. I help another human being who is just like me. And again, the whole point is like, I remember how hopeless it was. I remember the day before I got sobriety, how horrified I was, how bummed I was, how angry and bitter and pissed and just sick of drinking I was, and just, oh God, can this just stop? Right? You're talking to Hiroshima and Nagasaki at that point. That I woke up every day just wishing for nuclear Armageddon. I was so over it. So over it. So my job is I get to go help people who are in that state of being realize there's a new day. The new reality starts now, man. We go on this journey, right? And it's that thing, like it's like I was talking about, like waking people up in the truth thing. Like don't wake anyone up if you're not going to do the work with them, dude, and get them. Oh, you just go tell them the truth and then walk away. No. Like that's the point. Like we're getting people sober, and that's why we have all of this network set up. That's why we have the meetings and the central offices and the gatherings and the sober stuff. Because once you decide you want to get sober, we're not going to walk away from you. It might not be our interpersonal like journey together, but as a collective of there's millions and millions of us, dude, just crazy ass sober people that their primary purpose is to help you achieve sobriety. Dude, we're everywhere. And you don't want to plug into that. You just want to sit in your apartment and just white knuckle it. Like, why wouldn't you want to go join the ranks of the most wild people ever, dude? Like, I'll tell you, man. Speaking of the fires, what? Yeah, when we're done. Like, so the fire happened, right? And we were staying up in Santa Barbara in a hotel, but then we went and got an Airbnb. So we had to go down around the fire through San Fernando Valley down to our Airbnb, which was in Marina Del Rey, right? So this was like a week after our house burned down, the community burned down, the Woolsey fire, right? So this was 6 years ago. So I'm going down and I'm caravanning with my Al and I are in one car, my wife and my stepdaughter in another car. I don't know, we're out in the valley somewhere, dude, off the 118 or something, dude, because it was just, the whole city was broken. And we pull into a gas station, right? And, I'm at this point, I'm traumatized. My wife's had it, like, we're out. It's all drama, dude. And I'm a sober guy, dude. And I see this group of bikers, dude, like motorcycle dudes, like bikers. But I noticed the patches on it is like, we're sober guardians or something. I don't know, the thing was orange, dude. They're like sober bikers, dude. It says on their patch, they're patched sober bikers. And I'm at this gas station out in the valley, and there's like 30 of these dudes all parked over in the corner, man. And I'm fucked up, dude. Like, I'm just like, my whole community's burned down. My wife's had enough of me. My house is gone, dude. I don't know what's going on. I walk over to these dudes, man. These sober bikers, these gnarly looking sober biker. And I go, hey, you guys, man, like, I'm an AA guy. Like, I'm struggling right now. It's almost bringing tears to me. I'm struggling right now. I go, can we pray together for a minute? Can we do the serenity prayer, dude? Like, I don't know I'm fucked, man. I need some help. Dude, these gnarly fucking biker dudes just stopped everything they did. And we got into a big circle and all held hands and did the serenity prayer. Like, that's who we are. If you don't want part of that vibe, then you're missing out, man. That's why I just like the people I don't join. Dude, you realize the power of being able to go anywhere in the world and see one of us and the shit is hit the fan and you can walk up to a complete, total fucking stranger and go, hey, will you help me? I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. And they'll stop everything they're doing and be like, yep, circle up, guys. This dude needs a prayer right now. And I will never forget that moment sitting in that shitty gas station parking lot off the 118 freeway out there in the valley while my wife and are gassing up, and I'm over there praying with a group of just the gnarliest bikers you've ever seen, dude. Just and praying like and just head down. Like that's the honesty. I needed help that moment. I was 10 years, 9 years sober. 9 years sober, dude. I needed help, dude. I was in the middle of LA, needed help, dude. My life was burned down. And there they were, a bunch of sober biker dudes. And those dudes did not hesitate to get in a circle and hold my hand and pray. So sit on the sidelines, man, and white knuckle it, or join up, dude. Join up to the life-saving crew, dude, because that's what we're about here, dude. And if you don't want to be part of that, like you don't want to get your red shorts on and go swim out into the ocean of alcoholism to fish people out of the raging Pacific of just doom and gloom, dude, and bring them onto the sunny shore of a new reality, dude, just don't get on your red shorts. It's fine with me. I don't care. I got my red shorts, dude. I got my parachute, my cape, and all my life-saving book, dude. And I'm going into the deep end, dude. So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. Amen. Listen, man, as I always end this is if you're suicidal, dude, please don't take your life tonight. There's a lot of resources out here. Orangutan just put out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. It's 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. I believe it is 288 is the 3-digit code, and 116123 for Ireland and the UK. Listen, man, whatever's facing you today, it's not going to be as gnarly tomorrow. So don't take your life, man. Like whatever you do, just there is a solution. There is help out there, and your life is valuable, and it's super important. You just ask someone for help, man. And if you're struggling with drugs and alcohol, you can type into your computer or your device AA central office with your town, whatever town that is, and you'll get a number, and you'll get some meetings, and you'll get a central office number. Call that number or go to those meetings, and you'll find some crazy ass sober people that will stop everything to help you, dude. And that's what we're all about. So join up if you want. We don't bite, but we don't bullshit either, dude. So with that said, good night. God bless. And we'll see you next Sober Wednesday, God willing. And thank you for being here, for keeping me sober one more time. Good night.